Good morning, everybody. Umar Rastia with Close Quarters Countermeasures. So it's June 15th, a couple days after the shooting in Orlando, mass shooting by that murderer. Waited a couple days before I made any comments about it, at least publicly. You know, both sides of the gun issue getting up on their soapboxes and making claims that are either foolish or not factual. Naturally, with everything flying around the way it is, I have been having some conversations, and I've been trying to wait until the investigations were a little bit more thoroughly completed or worked on, and some conclusions were made. What I want to focus on this morning is, it seems I keep on coming back to the same kind of topic, the good guy with a gun situation. I was talking to some other guys, martial artist friends, and kind of personal defense focused people, and they tend to focus on the idea that somebody should have had a gun, or more people should have had a gun, and the extreme, everybody should have a gun. Well, again, that's not feasible, it's not practical, and it's probably not safe either. But the fact is, a few people or more people should be prepared to defend themselves. And it's unfortunate. I'm not going to lay blame on the victims of this attack. They were out to have a good time, and like many people, probably thought to themselves, what could possibly happen? What could possibly happen here, now, at this time? And that's the nature. That's human nature. Well, it's human nature now. The modern society's human nature is to feel like everywhere we go is safe and nothing bad could possibly happen. And that's what predators want you to think. And these people are predators, whether they're terrorists or whether they're people who belong to hate groups or they're just crazy, or all of the above. They want us to feel like we are safe anywhere. We want to feel that way too, but the fact is that we're not. That doesn't mean you have to walk around twitchy and or stay in your house agoraphobic. It just means that we should understand that the world is not inherently safe. It never has been. Nothing in this life is guaranteed. You hear that all the time. The Constitution doesn't guarantee you anything. Your religion doesn't guarantee you anything. The only real guarantee you have is that you're going to die one day. It's pretty somber, but we know that to be fact, at least. What's within your control is the ability to understand preparedness. There is a fine line between awareness and paranoia. It's easy to step over that line, particularly if you've been a victim of some type of trauma at any point, right? I'm not going to go into that, but awareness is key, and the first part of awareness is understanding the world you live in and your environment, right? So, again, without laying any blame, the fact is that had there been some people in this club who had some training, who had a fight mentality, a survival mentality, a combat mentality, whatever you want to call it, the willingness to survive and fight. The first thing I said in my discussion with some other guys is, it's not about the gun. There was somebody there with a gun from what I've heard recently, either an off-duty police officer or something of that nature, or maybe he was on detail. But who knows? I mean, he might have been separated from the action by masses of people panicking and running in every direction. Might not have been able to engage. Keep in mind also, as I said in my previous post, because you have a gun doesn't mean that you can just go running into someplace and start shooting. I mean, who knows if this person with a gun had his weapon deployed and couldn't take a shot because there were people everywhere, you know? And that's the problem with this type of a murderer, this type of insanity, is that there's no conscience involved. You can just shoot in all directions willy-nilly without any real care for where that lead is going, or with plenty of care where it's going, but just knowing that you're looking for everybody. Any one of us that has a conscience and a mind that is working properly isn't or shouldn't be shooting into a crowd of people, near a crowd of people, when you cannot guarantee where each of those rounds are going to go. That being said, so if some people, more people there, had the fight, not flight, training and mentality, who knows? Maybe some of these lives might have been saved. Some of the casualties would have been reduced. It doesn't take much, you know. People barricading themselves in rooms or hiding underneath tables. Well, think about what's in a club. Think about all the things around you. All it takes is the will. If not for just one individual, for a group of individuals to say, we got to take this guy down. Keep in mind that he can only point in one direction at a time. All right? Right. So there's mass that people are running in every direction. Maybe it's hard to get to. I get it. But at some point, there's got to be a way where you take action. You take a bottle, you take a fire extinguisher, you take a stool, a chair, a bench, a broom, anything. Think about all the stuff that's hanging around in a club that you could use. You pick up a table and you bum rush him with it. You know, you break a bottle and you stick it in places that he's not going to enjoy. You know, I can't imagine what it was like to be in that environment when that was happening. I've been in a lot of sticky situations myself, but that type of chaos in such a confined area must have been terrifying and to many people most likely paralyzing. And that's what happens to most people if you're not trained. Some people have a natural instinct that is almost opposite of paralyzation. They act quickly. They do. Some people have that, but that's not inherent in all of us. And I think for the most part, the human mind doesn't do well with immediate threat anymore. Keep in mind that we've essentially conditioned ourselves as society, as human beings, as Homo sapiens, to be that way. You know, think 1,000, 2,000, 3, 4, 5,000 years ago, when we were living as hunter-gatherers. You know, there were always predators in the area. A lot of the instincts that we have now, and a lot of the physiological things that take place in our minds and in our bodies, are direct results of being essentially a prey animal for quite some time. It's natural. You see it in animals around the world. It's very natural. But we have evolved ourselves through being predator into a society where we, for the most part, are prey. The wonderful thing about the knowledge and the advancement of human society is that we can choose whether we are prey or predator. Now, it's a mentality, and even if you aren't one of those people who act immediately rather than freeze, you know, you can train yourself out of that now. If you don't want to be prey, you can decide. And you can find many places and methods and tools and weapons to become familiar with and train on. And remember also that the most important weapon, the most valuable weapon, is your mind. We are all the weapons. What's at the end of our arms are just tools. We're like something you'll buy at a hardware store, Home Depot or Lowe's, you know, with modular attachments. What's at the end of your hand, it can change it at any moment. The real power comes from your mind. The real power comes from your heart and your will and your willingness to fight and to live and to protect others. So make a choice. Understand that you don't have to be prey. And if more of us in society and in the world would embrace that, okay? That doesn't mean going out there and being some soldier of fortune or some doomsday prepper or you know, crazy survivalist. It just means understanding that you can prepare yourself to have control or some semblance of control in a situation that seems completely chaotic. You can be the rock in the eye of a storm, but you have to choose, because there's no in between. All right, thanks. I'll talk to you again soon. Have a great day, and everybody be safe.